Hi everyone, welcome to Women's and Gender Studies 372 and Religious Studies 373. My name is Jill. I'll be your instructor for this semester. I want to quickly just note that the book order for the Evans and Williams book went in a little bit late, and so I'm not sure if it's in the bookstore or not. I'm going to check it today. So my apologies if we have to do just a little bit of catch-up work on the syllabus. It should be in the bookstore right away. Welcome. I hope that we're going to have a really good semester talking about gender and sort of examining the assumptions we have and how these categories are constructed and where people are rewarded and punished and how people play with gender and perform their gender and adhere or resist to the expectations and constructions of gender. Obviously, we're going to be engaging this from a feminist perspective. I hope that we will all be able to sort of, as much as possible online, converse back and forth, right? And we'll be able to really share some ideas and open up some of these boxes that we live inside and that make it the world a little bit more comfortable for us when we're able to sort of situate things in categories. We want to challenge some of those ideas and challenge some of the assumptions we have, and perhaps be able to start looking at the world with a new set of eyes that isn't constantly looking for a box, but rather can sort of look at the lay of the land for what it actually is. That said, I want to give you a little bit of info about me. I run the Women's Center here at the university. Here I am in my office with my blinds closed so that you can see me while I record this video. I always feel like a bit of a weirdo at the beginning of the semester recording these videos. I feel like a creep in my office talking to myself on camera. So hopefully it does get a little easier as the semester goes on, and so hopefully I'll be slightly less awkward and make a little bit, more sense, and the videos will start to have a little bit more flow as we make our way through the semester. I run the Women's Center. I teach Women's and Gender Studies. I have been in both of these positions for nearly a decade. I am a single mom of a almost 4-year-old boy, an almost 4-year-old, and he is the funnest thing in the entire world. He's constantly amazing me with the quickness of his sharp little mind. He is half Cuban. I married a Cuban man, and we met on the beach in a very stereotypical sort of fashion. I decided in a week that I was going to get married. In 6 months we were married. 18 months he was here, and shortly thereafter I had our son. So I have family in Cuba that I go back to visit frequently, who I love, and it's been an experience that has really provided me with an opportunity to look at the assumptions we make about the world that we live in, and really to think about what it means to live in sort of the first world, and in a world where first world, the global north. I say first world when we think about different kinds of problems, right? People will say first world problems. It's that kind of thing, right? It's I'm granted on a sort of daily and regular basis the opportunity to examine how the world I live in has been constructed and how differently we all walk through the world depending on our sort of location, in terms of identity and social location, geographic location, and socioeconomic location. All of those things that help to make us who we are, and really, in some ways, determine, in the life lottery, what kind of access we're going to have to resources, and how we might be able to exercise agency and choice, in ways that are very different from people who are living in different places than we live in. And not just geographically. I mean that in terms of gender, in terms of identity, in terms of faith and culture and all of those things. So you'll probably hear me talk about Cuba lots over the semester as a point of reference, just because it has informed or given me an opportunity to be really super reflective on, like I said, kind of a daily basis. I spent some time working in the domestic violence unit also. I moved people into a shelter. I went to court with people. I worked closely with the police. I also published 2 research documents. They were projects that were funded by the Status of Women, and I worked with the police service and prosecutors and probations folks to look at stalking as it is related to domestic violence, to kind of identify where some gaps are in our systems and what it is that we can be doing better, because stalking is one of the elements of a violent relationship that often continues on long past the end of a relationship. What else about me? Love teaching. I love to learn from my students. I'm shocked every semester, every class I teach by how much I learn. So I'm really hoping that this can be interactive, despite the fact that we're not in the same physical space. We have some forums and things where we'll be able to post questions and talk to each other. And so and to me, and I'm hopeful that we will utilize that well. You bring all of your identity and location to this class, and that will help us all to apply a different set of eyes to the world that we're living in. Sometimes all of us as human beings need engagement to learn, right? Books are great, and I'm a big fan of books. My house is a library, and formal learning is important, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing the job that I do. However, I also think that sometimes it's an engagement, it's an experience with other people, in relation to other people, that we can make the really tangible connections of the abstract ideas, right, of the knowledge that we're gaining. It's sometimes in those quiet moments where we're engaged with other people that things really solidify and set and start to make real sense for us. So you have a few assignments, some written work and a take-home exam. We will talk about those as we prepare in the weeks coming up in sort of more depth. I want you to have a chance to have a look at the syllabus, to post some questions if you have them in the Ask Your Instructor forum. If chances are, if you have questions about the syllabus, so does someone else. Again, as I said, that second textbook may be just slightly late getting on the shelf and being available to you, and my apologies for that. It was just a very small error on my part. It's only happened to me twice ever in all of my teaching, but that request went in just slightly late for the second book. So I'm really looking forward to a good semester with everybody. I hope that you have brought your sort of really super critical thinking hat to the table and are ready to ask some hard questions and do some unpacking of the things that I think often we take for granted. We were talking in this office the other day about gender and pronouns and different identities that are now sort of part of our norm, right? It's a new social norm, but that for lots of people are really difficult to navigate, because socialization has taught us that there's really two ways to be, and that's to be male or female. That's to identify as masculine or feminine, and that there's just really one set of pronouns for singular, and that's he and she. And more commonly, we have people using they because they are choosing not to be put inside a box at sort of one end of the spectrum or the other. And for lots of us, it's decades of conditioning that we're trying to undo, right? To remember to be mindful. And lots of us, even in this work, right, where I'm living in an academic area where I work with UR Pride all the time, and I teach about gender, sometimes fall into the habit of using he or she, and forgetting to use they as a more neutral term, or as a more abstract term, or as a term of resistance, right, to being in one of those boxes. And it's not a matter of being disrespectful. It is a matter of being conscious, right, and trying to interrogate our own positions enough and to remind ourselves that there is more than one way to identify, and that there are lots of different ways to engage the idea of gender. And so I would encourage us all to be really mindful of that, and instead of maybe calling each other out, to offer some gentle reminders that we're trying to move beyond some of these binaries and to move beyond these boxes that we've all been living in, and that we've used to kind of be able to pigeonhole and identify other people, and to mark things as being more or less valuable according to the gender that they are sort of aligned with. And so that's going to be a work in progress, I think, for all of us. And I suppose I just wanted to offer a bit of a reminder that we need to be gentle in making that transition, right? As we move throughout the semester, hopefully that will become maybe a little bit more natural, to be more inclusive and less sort of stuck in the binary. But social conditioning has us all, sort of coming to these things from a place of at least some unconscious conditioning. So we're going to need to consciously work at that, to challenge some of those assumptions. I I hope that, you have had a chance to have a look at the textbooks. Please contact me if you have any questions, any concerns. I think we're in for a really great semester. So have a look at the outline, have a look at the syllabus, and then either post in the Ask Your Instructor forum or send me an email directly. I can also be reached by phone at the Women's Center. So you can feel free to email, to telephone. We can Skype if you'd like to Skype. You're also welcome to stop by my office or to make an appointment, and we can set something up so you can meet me in class. I'm shrinking here underneath this camera's at a weird angle, so again, my apologies. It's like working out the technology. And I'm happy to meet with you in person too to discuss, whatever. If you have questions or concerns, or want to talk about assignments or whatever that might be. So welcome to your 372, 373 online class. I'm really looking forward to this semester with all of you, and hope that you are off to a good start at this first week of classes, and we'll see you all soon. I'll post another video next week. So have a good weekend, and we'll talk soon. Take care.